Are you ready for some smart, plain talk on politics, Israel, and the law? It's the Andrew Parker Show. Let's roll. Welcome to another episode of the Andrew Parker Show. As each episode, we talk politics, Israel, and the law. This episode, no different. Number 490. Yes, indeed. And it is a special episode from my perspective for sure. And that is we're talking with our special guest from Minnesota's 1st Congressional District, one of 435 members of the U.S. House of Representatives, one of simply 535 in the U.S. Congress who carries with him a vote. 330 million people and more in the United States, 535 carry with them a vote, a solemn responsibility that they hold, and few carry it out better than our guest today, Representative Brad Finstad. And Brad, thank you so much for joining us on the Andrew Parker Show.
Thank you, Andrew. It's great to be with you.
So you're out in D.C., and it's not just a small celebration. It is a big party celebrating 250 years since the Declaration of Independence. And think about what we're talking about here. The Declaration of Independence. Congressman, what does it mean to you?
Well, it's an exciting time to be alive, and it's an exciting time to celebrate really the history and the heritage of our country. You know, when you have a milestone birthday like this, you know, you can't help but just be so happy that we are so blessed to live in the greatest country in the world. But it's also a time for us to reflect. You know, we didn't get here by accident. We got here by amazing leaders, men and women that sacrificed so much and had so much, hope and faith in who we could become as a country. And then they were willing to put in the work to get us to where we are today. And so celebrating 250 years is something we shouldn't take for granted. We should throw a big party. We should be very happy that we continue to live in the best country the world's ever seen. And then really this should create an opportunity for all of us to let's dream big. What do we want the next 250 years of our country to look like? And let's be a part of that. Andrew, you pointed out, I have the honor of representing 750,000 people in southern Minnesota. And it's an honor I do not take lightly. And it's so amazing to be serving in Congress at this time as we celebrate the 250th year birthday of this great country.
Freedom, liberty, the Declaration of Unalienable Rights, all of that, making the United States unique in the world and in human history. And we've got to thank, as well as you did already, the leaders of this country that so brilliantly brought this to light and made it a shining star amongst all others. But in addition, our veterans. What is your message to our veterans? Those who fought for this freedom and continually have done so, because it does not come for free. It is not cheap.
Yeah, so Andrew, that's a great point. And I tell my 7 children all the time that, you know, we are so blessed. We are so honored to have neighbors over generations that have loved us without even knowing who we are. They have been willing to serve for our freedoms. They've been willing to sacrifice blood, sweat, and tears, in some cases their life, for us to live in this great country. And so never take that for granted. Always being willing to honor those that have served and that are serving. Make sure that we give them all of the utmost respect that they deserve. We are blessed to be living on the shoulders of giants. Those that, you know, whether they led through policy and developing our great republic through our independence, through our Bill of Rights, and those that have been willing to, serve our country and fight for our freedoms, both domestically and abroad, and those that have constantly been willing to run towards fires and not away from them. That's the American spirit. That's the American spirit that we celebrate, and that's the gift that they've given us. So let's not waste that gift. It's a precious gift, and it's a gift that has bore fruit for 250 years. And let's make sure that gift continues to grow and to give our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren a better backyard than we even have today.
The vast majority of Americans, vast majority, agree with Representative Brad Finstad as he talks about the cherished gift of freedom and liberty, the gift of independence that, it wasn't given, it was fought for. But these ideals are certainly worth fighting for. Unfortunately, there are many in our country today who believe that the United States is the worst of nations, not the best of nations. And we have to reject that, and I think we have. I want to turn to some policy for a moment, turn to what is above the fold almost every day now, and that is the Middle East. And when it comes to the Middle East, there is one country and only one country founded on the same similar values as the United States of America, and that is the state of Israel. What are your thoughts on Israel and the discord that we have in this country that vilifies the state of Israel in the Middle East amongst all of the countries that are there that could certainly be vilified?
Let's make no mistake about it. America has no better friend in the world than Israel. And this relationship, this friendship, this unique experience that we have, and we are connected in so many different ways, shouldn't be taken for granted. And moreover, we cannot ignore history. And if you look at the relationship that the United States and Israel have had for generations, it has been a relationship that has been built on faith, tradition, but it's also been built on national security, global security. It's been built on standing up for those that are persecuted. It's been built on partnering against horrific war criminals that have tried to eliminate certain populations just based on their faith or their beliefs. That is an American value of standing up against those atrocities. And Israel has been our friend in that and our partner in that. Strategically located in the Middle East, very strong militarily in regards to our unique opportunities to defend our nation from afar. And so hopefully, as we look into the future, we're not fighting those battles on our shore, but we're able to go out and take care of those challenges before they hit our backyard. I mean, there's so many ways in which Israel has been a strong partner and a lifelong partner for this country. And it's my hope that we as a country really balance our emotions with our intellect. You know, right now there's political rhetoric going around about anti-Israel rhetoric, the anti-Semites that are, running rampant on certain campuses across our country. I mean, these people just clearly have ignored facts. They've ignored history. And if we put our head in the sand and we don't listen and learn from history, we're going to repeat it. And so it's so important now more than ever that we educate our neighbors and our communities and really the country and the world about our strong relationship with Israel.
Absolutely. We're talking to Representative Brad Finstad, and when it comes to that relationship, there is no country in the world that is more aligned with the United States in terms of first principles, in terms of founding principles, and specifically Judeo-Christian principles on which both countries were founded, and you can see it today. Who were two of the first countries to respond to the disaster, the catastrophe that has occurred in Venezuela? Israel and the United States. Both were there immediately. And it speaks to the values of the people and of those two allied countries, as you so beautifully articulated. Congressman. You're on the Armed Services Committee, very important committee in the United States Congress, a very important committee, I would argue, for peace in the world. Because peace only comes from strength and, more specifically, from blood, sweat, and tears. It is not given freely, quite often, because of our enemies. How do you see where we are at right now and where we're headed as it relates to Iran policy?
Yeah, so, starting with the work on the Armed Services Committee, I mean, there is a very strong awareness that, we provide peace not only domestically but all over the globe through our strength. And our strength has been tested. For 30-some years, we have seen declined investments in our defense industrial base. We have been content offshoring very strategic components that keep our military and our industry safe and growing and strong. And so we have worked very hard to reshore those national security type domestic opportunities from a national defense standpoint, which will make us stronger. And through that strength, we do then find that peace. We have to acknowledge that the warfare that our adversaries are investing in isn't a warfare that can be simply fixed with duct tape and JB Weld. It is a warfare that is highly becoming more reliant on cyber and satellite and drone warfare. And so we have to make sure we're investing in those capabilities, but also we're doing it domestically, because we can't invest in a military that relies on drones and cyberspace, cybersecurity type platforms if we're buying components from China or Russia. And so we're doing everything we can within the committee to reshore and to grow our defense industrial base. We're seeing it happen right here in Minnesota. All across Minnesota, we have a great ecosystem that's growing, and we need to continue to invest in that. We are in the process of passing in our current year National Defense Act, which will be close to $1.2 trillion, growing our investments in our defense ecosystem, which will, again, provide that peace through the world through our strength.
And
what
much
we've
of
seen
that
happen in Iran
is spent right here in the United States, including, I believe, in the 1st Congressional District in Minnesota. And now, a word from our sponsors.
Are you a business owner? Are you losing sleep because you feel your partner isn't carrying their weight, or because you no longer share the same vision or values? Are you no longer comfortable going into your own office? Are you walking on eggshells in the company you built? This is Chris Daniels, founding partner of Parker Daniels Keyboard LLC, a premier litigation law firm headquartered in downtown Minneapolis. For more than 30 years, I've specialized in business litigation and have helped hundreds of business owners resolve troubling business disputes. As a former certified public accountant, I get to the heart of the dispute, including financial issues. Business divorce can be messy, time-consuming, and costly, but doing nothing can cost you a lot more. Not just money, but emotionally, physically, and in your personal life. If you and your business partner no longer see eye to eye, and you're eager to take a proactive approach and make a change, please call me at 612-355-4100 and schedule a consultation. Or visit our website at www.parkerdk.com.
We're seeing it happen all over Minnesota, whether it is new AI platformed companies that are working hard to make the delivery of products within our military more efficient, whether it's the plastic molding companies or the welders, the tinkerers, the inventors. We're seeing these companies, I call them the small mom and pops, all over Minnesota that now have a new opportunity because of our acquisitions reform and the investments that we've made within the Department of Defense to align those folks and give them an avenue to help our warfighters and help be a part of our national security. And it's really an exciting time. And where we're seeing this play out in real time is look at what's happened in Iran. You know, the ability for us to, for once and for all, take someone that has been 47 plus years in declaring death to America and doing everything they can to be the world's largest state sponsor of terrorism. We're able to go in and say, no, listen, our strength is something that is unmatched, something that you have never seen before. And we're going to do it, by the way, without putting boots on the grounds, without putting our young men and women in harm's way. And what we have seen has been something that's been very powerful, not only just for us as a country, but the message has been sent loud and clear all over this globe. And what we have seen now is because of that power and that strength and that decisive leadership of this president, we have now seen an opportunity to stabilize a region that has been woefully unstable for far too many years.
You know, it is competence personified. The armed forces operating like few have ever seen before, not just because of their equipment and their military munitions and weapon systems, but because, as I say, of their competence and our military's competence. And boy, it is a far cry from that to looking at the state of Minnesota, looking at the fraud that is going on in the state of Minnesota, looking at the public safety issues that exist that never used to exist in the state of Minnesota. Speak to us a little bit, Congressman. I know you're very aware of the issues that we face here in Minnesota. Speak a little bit about Minnesota then and now.
So, Andrew, great question. I hear this everywhere I go in southern Minnesota and really all across the state. One of the common themes I hear is, well, this just isn't the Minnesota we grew up in. This isn't our way of life. You know, this epidemic of fraud and just mismanagement of our tax dollars. I mean, quite frankly, we feel like we're taken for a bunch of chumps. A Minnesota value that we all can agree on is our compassionate, conservative values of if our neighbors are in time of need, we help them. I have witnessed this firsthand over and over again. I could tell you story after story, as I'm sure you could, Andrew, of our neighbors that get on tough times, and we're all there to rally around them. A farmer neighbor of mine who had back surgery, and I was in a combine with 10 other neighbors, combining his entire farm for him in a couple of days because he couldn't get out of bed. Wow. That's the compassionate, conservative Minnesota who we are. And so when you look at these programs, they took advantage of us, of who we are. You know, do we want to help families that have children with autism? Of course we want to help where we can help. Do we want to help hungry kids that are in need of some extra food? Of course we want to help. Do we want to help families that are struggling to make their payments with their daycare so they can go work and be productive? Of course we want to help. But what we have found out is we have been taken for chumps because that good, compassionate values that we have with a complete mismanagement of our state government has taken us all by surprise. It is an embarrassment, and it's the tune of billions of dollars. Andrew, I just got out of a briefing. The federal government sends over $70 million each month to the state of Minnesota for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, the food stamp program, $70 million a month. With the error rates and the fraud that we're seeing, it's estimated now that over $300,000 a day in Minnesota is being misused and mismanaged. $300,000 a day. Think what that means for the young family in southern Minnesota. That's mom and dad are both trying to work. They're struggling to make their daycare payments. Think of where that money could go to help that family. Yeah. Think of that family that has a child with autism and they need that extra help to provide that care and that opportunity for them to grow as a family and to be productive citizens of our state. Think of where those dollars could have went. It is a disgrace where we have seen the mismanagement of these funds, these federal tax dollar funds that have been given to the state to be administered locally have been mismanaged.
You know, the 1st Congressional District is the district that Tim Walz represented for a number of years. And the Democrats are now claiming it is the Tim Walz seat. What do you have to say to that?
Well, I find it laughable, but here's what I will tell those folks, and I'll tell anybody that needs to hear this, is that southern Minnesota's 1st Congressional District belongs to 750,000 people who live in southern Minnesota. It doesn't belong to a dipstick politician. It doesn't belong to a party. It doesn't belong to an R or a D, and by gosh, there is no way that it is Tim Walz's seat. The seat belongs to the folks of southern Minnesota. Folks like me have the opportunity to earn their support, earn their vote, to earn the right and the honor to represent them. It's an honor I take very seriously. I work hard every day to listen to the concerns of my neighbors in southern Minnesota and to take those concerns and those interests and those issues and bring them to Washington, that common sense, normal Southern Minnesotan conservative, compassionate values, and bring that out there and represent them as best as I can do. So my message to those folks is newsflash, the seat doesn't belong to Tim Walz.
Yeah, you're darn right it doesn't. And God willing, we should return Brad Finstad to the United States Congress. He deserves to carry the vote of those 750,000 in the first congressional district. He believes in this country. He supports this country. He wraps himself in this country, unlike so many others on the other side of the aisle. And this is a critical seat for control of the U.S. House. How's the race going, Congressman?
Well, I always tell people, I mean, first and foremost, if you know anything about me, you need to know this. My goal in life is heaven, not Congress. And I'm going to do everything I can to keep to that number one goal. And hopefully people see me living out my service in Congress related to that goal. But the race is tough. I'm a competitor. I've played a lot of sports. I have 7 kids in about every sport imaginable. I always tell them, you compete like you're 5 points behind no matter what you're doing. Keep that chip on your shoulder. Keep that drive and that work ethic to do everything you can and leave it all on the field. And that's exactly what I'm doing in this race. But the fact of the matter is there is folks that want to pretend that the seat belongs to Tim Walz, and they're putting millions of dollars in from all over the West and the East Coast. And I just tell people, I mean, there is an odd reason why millionaires from California, New York, and Washington are spending millions of dollars to try to rip this seat out of the folks' hands in southern Minnesota. And we're going to do everything we can to fight that. No one's going to outwork me, and come election time, I'm going to hit it sliding head first into home base.
I love it. That's Congressman Brad Finstad, and I'll tell you, his opponent openly interviewed and would vote against support for the state of Israel, would vote against it. Our one clear, untarnished, and unquestioned ally in the Middle East, and he would vote against it. You know, in the first congressional district, they believe in the United States-Israel relationship, and so that is out of touch amongst a number of other central issues. Tim Walz is a Democrat, you all know, and Brad Finstad certainly doesn't agree with much of anything that Tim Walz has done of late.
I'm all over the district when I'm not here in Washington, and would love to not only continue to earn people's support, but earn their friendship. I firmly believe that my calling in politics is to build more friends than enemies. I believe in our country. I believe in our way of life in Minnesota. I believe in the southern Minnesota that my family has been for 4 generations. I believe in it so much that my wife and I are raising 7 kids, our 5th generation, and I can't wait to one day see the 6th generation bless southern Minnesota. And so I'm going to fight for it, and I ask your viewers, your listeners, to join me in that fight.
No doubt. Congressman Brad Finstad, consensus builder. We need more like him in Congress. We need to return him to Congress, and it is an important one. Every single vote in the U.S. Congress is critical today, as Congress is split so evenly. Congressman, thanks so much for joining us on the Andrew Parker Show. It's great to see you again, and I know I'll be seeing you soon. We're going to have your colleagues, Michelle Fischbach, Pete Stauber, Tom Emmer, all on the show coming up over the next several weeks. And thank you very much for leading off our congressional parade here on the Andrew Parker Show.
Really appreciate the time with you, Andrew. Thank you.
Take care. That's Congressman Brad Finstad, 1st Congressional District here in the state of Minnesota. Go to theandrewparkershow.com, theandrewparkershow.com. Subscribe, like, give us your email. You'll be the first to receive the next episode. And until next time, as I say, be kind to your neighbor. For more Smart Plain talk, go to theandrewparkershow.com. Learn about all of your listening and viewing options. And remember, all the great things are simple, and many can be expressed in a single word: freedom, justice, honor, duty, mercy, hope. This episode of The Andrew Parker Show is sponsored by Parker Daniels Keyboard. Mark Twain once quipped, "A lie can travel halfway around the world while the truth is still putting on its shoes. When you are lied about and it spreads, the resulting mayhem and destruction can be, and often is, disastrous." Hi, this is Andrew Parker, co-founder of the Parker Daniels Keyboard Law Firm. I recently handled a high-profile defamation lawsuit on behalf of a luxury home real estate agent whose business was decimated by falsehoods spread about him. After nearly 2 years of litigation and 2 weeks of trial, the jury came back with a verdict of more than $2 million for our client. Parker Daniels Keyboard. We litigate cases, we try cases, and we win cases. With a record of excellence in achieving extraordinary results, Parker Daniels Keyboard lawyers have consistently won huge verdicts for its clients in the areas of defamation, civil rights violations, regulatory battles, and intellectual property theft. For wise counsel and winning results, contact us at Parker Daniels Keyboard, premier law firm in downtown Minneapolis.